Hello, viewers. Marianne from Revealing Light Tarot. I want to take a quick look at the Democratic debates. So we've had, they were broadcast in partnership with the DNC and CNN this time around. And the first debate we're looking, or the first one that occurred in this round of debates, there's a lot of interest around Marianne Williamson. Of course, she said that, Democrats really needed to do something different to counteract the dark psychic forces that were so prevalent in the US at this time under Trump. Dark psychic forces, it's really hit a nerve with people. People are starting to see that phrase. I think it was quite clever of Williamson to use it because it's starting to conjure up evil. So what do we do when we hear dark psychic forces? Okay, our ears start to prick up and we go, hang on a minute. We start to remember that words have energy, and we start to remember that words can provoke violence, they can provoke abuse, and so it's put the spotlight onto Trump as really being leading in front, generating, propelling these dark psychic forces, and it seems to have taken hold in the media. So I want to look at Marianne Williamson, and I also want to I've been thinking about Elizabeth Ann Warren for quite some time now. I've been feeling quite positive about her. I've read at different times, and as you know, energies in the tarot can change. So I want to look at her. And I also want to look at Biden. Now, this isn't. I've read on other candidates. This isn't. I'm not advocating for any of these candidates. I'm looking at what happened in this particular Democratic debate and seeing who emerged for whatever reason, whether it's something they've said or something they've done, and just having a look at what the public perception is of them following these debates. So we will take Marianne Williamson, dark psychic forces. Did she generate, that's what I want to know, did she generate a closer scrutiny of what Trump is doing, of these dark psychic forces? What's been the reaction to the phrase that she's used, dark psychic forces? What are people thinking now in relation to Donald Trump? Are they scrutinising the way that he's whipping up negative, dark energies? Are they now scrutinising, did it make them think about what Trump is actually doing with his racist, abusive, misogynistic? We could go on. Are people taking notice following Marianne Williamson's words? Spirit, what do we need to know? Okay, let's see. I'll bring the, I'm using the 78 Tarot Mythical. I often go to the Queen of Cups on YouTube for my astrological tarot readings of a month. She's absolutely wonderful. I think she's from Sweden, and she's been using this deck, and it's just absolutely transfixed me. It's the 78 Tarot Mythical Tarot of the Legendary. Every single card has been done by an individual artist. So I'll bring the laptop down. Marianne Williamson, Dark Psychic Forces. Okay, so there are extra cards, 3 extra cards in this a pack, and one of them is meditation. It can be a focus card where you can take it out before a reading and actually meditate on it, or it can actually be used within a reading. When it is used within a reading, it's a counsel to take some time out. So I think this is really good counsel when we think about the current debate, the current Trump world, the current dark psychic forces that Trump is apparently generating. Let's call it the racism and abusive, I was going to call it nonsense that comes out of his mouth. There is a counsel here to step back from it. Don't get drawn into it. Don't let it unseat you. Don't let it push you or buffet you. You need to step back and see it for what it is. Okay, and this is again, I think, why people are just turning off Trump. because of what he's actually doing to their psyches. Now, what's the challenge here? Choices. Okay, this is a really interesting signifier card coming, or set of two signifier cards coming up here. It's talking about Trump has really disrupted our psyches, and that we need to. We can't make those choices. There's almost an addiction level here with this Seven of Pentacles. It's like, you can't get off the news stream because you're so damn worried. I'd be surprised if the Nine of Swords didn't emerge in this reading. You can't get off the news feeds because you're so worried about what he's doing. It is an affront, and you're resisting that dark energy, that negative energy. But the way to resist it, yes, stand firm, yes, ring your representatives, yes, protest, yes, resist, yes, do whatever you can do. What I do is I do these tarot readings because I don't want this energy spreading throughout the world. But at the same time, there is a counsel here not to drown in it, to step back and meditate on the positive, meditate on things that are life-affirming rather than being so negative. The layered meanings here, we might not get to everything that I said I would read on, depending on how long this reading is. The other layer here is that people are making poor choices because of this energy that he is whipping up. It's hard for people to see the woods for the trees. So when he's activating this instinctive negative energy, he's activating the emotions, and it's very hard for them to discern between the right and the wrong. So even those people that are upstanding, that you would normally consider to be quite, you consider them to be right-thinking people, can be drawn into this dark energy, and it makes it difficult for them to make choices. And I saw a photo of a nun being arrested at the border for putting out water for asylum seekers. Now, a normal right-thinking person would go, how dare they arrest that nun for doing something so basic to humanity, so basic to to compassion, having compassion for those that are suffering, have wandered, have come to the borders. But a person might think, no, that nun shouldn't have done that. Our borders are being overridden. So people are finding it difficult to make those choices due to this negativity that Trump, he doesn't let up. It's continual. And so the meditation card is saying step back. All right, let's continue with the reading. All right, so what have we got here as the foundation of the reading? Justice. This was interesting. Marianne Williamson, no wonder they're taking another look at her, because she not only came across with this phrase that seems to be taken up by readers and viewers and voters and people around the world. She's made them think twice. She was also very strong on reparations for African Americans. So there's a justice here that she started people to think about, or started people to focus on. The King of Pentacles. Okay, so this is Trump. This is Trump, the businessman. The dark psychic forces people will be focusing on his, at one time, his billionaire, millionaire, who knows? We haven't seen his tax returns. That status was something that people were proud of, not proud of. People were using that as a qualification for him to become president. But really what we've seen is something totally, utterly different. We've seen a darkness, and we've seen a greed, and we've seen at best, inappropriate use of office. At worst, could be potentially, according to Mueller, things that need to be further investigated. The King of Cups. Okay, so talking about dark psychic forces, she again put the emphasis on the contrasting of good leadership and bad leadership. With the King of Cups, this is not who Trump is. Trump is the King of Pentacles. So judgment, oh yeah, absolutely. And this is going to go on now. She provoked a judgment of Trump. And the reason that she did because she was speaking truth. She was speaking truth to power. And I like to see these crows. It looks like crows in the background. So this is judgment. Judgment is endings. Judgment is necessary endings. And we do that once we've considered it, we've made the judgment, and sometimes there's no going back from it. This is the point that we are we have already approached with Donald Trump. For those that think he'll get back in, for those that no, we've already been past that point now. The Knight of Wands, she's stirred up a passion and she's stirred up inspiration. Do you want the world or your country? Do you want these dark psychic forces proliferating? No, you don't. And so the Knight of Wands, it's a fire energy, and this is a dragon. And so, in a way, she's in her own way, by using that phrase, Marianne Williamson has really propelled people to sit up and take notice. The Ace of Pentacles, they're going to be wanting new starts. It's interesting, this card has a gravestone on it, and if I can read the inscription on it, may the wings of the butterfly kiss the sun and find your shoulder to light on, to bring you luck, happiness and riches today, tomorrow and beyond. That's lovely. People are wanting more positive new starts, more positive energy. She is a spiritual guru, or has been described that way in the media as a spiritual guru, and she knew exactly what she was doing when she used that phrase. The Five of Pentacles. Oh, okay, so the fear of this Goliath here, or this troll. This troll is standing outside the walls of something, and he is excluded. And so the fear, she's almost in propelling people to sit up and take notice of, to think in terms of negative and positive, dark and light. She's put the attention and the focus on exactly what Trump is doing. And the ultimate outcome here, we've got the Seven of Wands. Trump will have to defend himself. I'm glad I used these cards today because this is the bull, this is the stubbornness of the bull. And the townsfolk have pitchforks and sticks, and they're ready to take on this bull. It's interesting, the Chariot, things coming forward very, very quickly. You can expect more in the media now to start. Three of Pentacles, teamwork, working together. You can expect more focus on Marianne Williamson now, because what did she do? She highlighted the abuse of power that's going on. And every time he talks about Baltimore, every time he talks about women in the way that he does, there is this abuse of power. And she's also, it's really put into people's minds, this is a plan for the future. It's an inspired plan. And it's also a plan that has will and motivation behind it. What is the plan? The plan is for change. So Marianne Williamson knew exactly what she was doing when she used that phrase. The media are taking more notice. But the real counsel in this reading, I do feel, is the two signifier cards, meditation and choices. So understanding that you need to, don't be drawn in and don't drown in this negative energy, because it is quite real. I don't know about dark psychic forces, but it certainly is dark energy. And you want to stand in the light. You don't want to be submerged under that. Okay, so Marianne Williamson, you'll be hearing more of her. She got noticed. Elizabeth Ann Warren. Let's just shuffle this deck. Elizabeth Ann Warren. They're quite large cards, so I'm not shuffling very well. So we'll give it another go. Elizabeth Ann Warren. Okay. I do feel that she is very consistent in her presentation. She is firm. She's a fighter. She doesn't draw back. She's so very clever. And under the right circumstances, if there was a downturn, people would be relying on someone like her for guidance, for leadership. She has leadership abilities because of who she is. because of her experience, because of her knowledge, because of her longevity as well. She's an experienced politician, but she's also a good person, and people can see that. So she's contrasting, as a woman, contrasting quite strongly with Donald Trump. So let's see, Elizabeth Warren. What are the voters thinking of her? So she's roughly sitting the same in polls, in the most recent polls. I haven't looked at them post-debate, but she's sitting on the same level, or around about the same level as Bernie Sanders. So Biden's a front runner, and Warren and Sanders are our next choices, and then we move to Kamala Harris. So Elizabeth Warren, what are people thinking of her now? What are people thinking of Elizabeth Warren post-Democratic debates? Elizabeth Warren, how did she go? How did she go in the Democratic debates? Elizabeth Warren, how did she go in the Democratic debates? All right, let's have a look at this. Oh, bright sun, phoenix from the ashes. So if you remember a few months ago, the Republicans and Trump spent a lot of time gaslighting her over her Native American lineage. She's moved beyond that now. Moved beyond that gaslighting. This is somebody who is very well perceived, and it's coming into her, I guess, into her strengths now as a campaigner. All right. So what's challenging her? The moon. The moon. So the moon is talking about, it could be that, people still think she's keeping secrets. But it could also be, she might even be challenged by her own party, is what I'm seeing. Okay, let's bring the laptop down. Again, this isn't if she's going to win. This is just a reading on how she went in the debates. The Tower card. Okay, so this could be her ability to manage these kinds of situations. What's building now? What's burning now? Okay, so we've got a lot of the Obama era policies and legacies have been overturned by the Trump regime, deliberately so, to start to unravel, uncouple, overturn that administrative security and stability. Is Warren able to handle this? Is she able to come forward with her strengths to manage situations like what the Tower creates? Got the Eight of Cups in the past. In the past, there's been loss, but I do feel that there is a moving on from this loss. I do feel that this is what's going on in the US at the moment. People are moving on from Donald Trump. One of the things that I really, before I get to the next card, even though you're waiting on it, one of the things that really, I guess, I enjoyed seeing. Normally the news feeds are full of what Trump has, Trump's gaslighting, Trump's dark negative energy. For the last 24 hours, they've been full of the Democratic candidates, not very little on Donald Trump, which is wonderful in a way, but in another way you think, well, what is he getting up to? Just remember, you don't have to be drawn into that. The Democrats hold the House. They're doing their oversight with their investigations. You've got your intelligence and your counterintelligence going on as well, and you've got structures in America that are there for a reason and do have those firm foundations, things like the courts and your own constitution. So don't get drawn into that negative energy that Trump wants you to be there, because you're focusing on him when you are. Okay, back to Elizabeth Warren. The potential, what's in the sky, is the Wheel of Fortune. This is talking about things turning in her favour in time, right now. In time, they're going to be turning right now, and in time, they're going to be turning in her favour. She's seen with this lovely, nurturing, supportive energy. But at the same time, this Queen of Cups is not a pushover. This Queen of Cups has plenty of things up her sleeve. She is a law professor. So she's no one's fool. She's been very insightful and predictive in the past, and she knows her legislation. She knows her regulations, and she's not going to be pushed around. But people are warming to her, and they will continue to do so in the future. That's really nice energies. The Knight of Pentacles. She's seen as reliable right now. Reliable. And I guess this is one of the things that you grab hold of when you in unstable times. You gravitate towards reliability. The Magician in the environment around her, yeah, she's actualising now into reality. That was a thought that came. I'll bring the laptop down. That was a thought that came into my mind, that Warren actually is. She's really standing in her power at the moment. Absolutely, this is a woman standing in her own power. The Page of Swords. Okay, so this is gossip, lies, slander. Can also be bringing forward of the truth. But in this position, in the hopes and the fears, I feel that this is actually talking about further gaslighting. As soon as somebody moves ahead in the polls, the Republicans and Trump go on the attack. Will it make any difference? The Knight of Swords. No, she's going to come back very strongly. She did make a documentary about her Native American ancestry. Whether it's that or whether it's something else, she's coming back. She's on the front foot. She's in her magician element at the moment, and it's not going to be a drawback for her, regardless of what they do, because she's got the Empress energy coming forward to her at the moment. This is the mother. This is the abundance. This is people are looking to her now as somebody who can possibly fix what's wrong. So she's not going to take a backward step. However, there is the Five of Cups, which talks about, we've got the 3 cups, but we've also got 3 cups which are spilling. We've got 2 cups. So it will be up to her as to how she negotiates what could be attacks coming on her. I feel that she's going to do okay. I feel she's going to actually be able to manage things. And what's the 2 base cards? We've got the Ten of Swords, so she's getting stronger all the time. She's been there, done that. And we've got the 4 of Pentacles, which is around holding on to things and being a little bit insecure. So I feel that people, there will be elements who will feel for whatever reason that she's not the right person for the job, and that's okay. But these cards are actually showing that right at the moment, post debate, she did well, and she could be really stepping into her own in the coming weeks and months, but. Just like happened with Biden, she's not only got to counter Republican attacks. At times, she'll have to counter attacks from within the Democratic Party as well. So those are the two I wanted to focus on. The other quick pull I wanted to do was just on Biden. He seemed to in that second debate that occurred, I think it was today or last night, he seemed to be able to handle the pretty strong attacks on him coming from Kamala Harris and Cory Booker. And that's okay. This is a competitive process and they're allowed to do that. But what I want to see, he seems to have emerged as a winner at this point, or CNN has certainly have talked about him in that regard. Let's just have another look. He's, I guess the polls are telling us some things, and he's actually got quite a lot of support from African Americans as well. But that polls are very general, aren't they? He's got a history. He's got a history in the Congress that it's not easily explained away, particularly when you go back 30 and 40 years, when you start to think about what were the conditions of that time, what sort of reference framework you were operating in. Very hard for him to overturn some of what's being levelled at him by Booker and Harris. Nevertheless, he's according to CNN, he emerged as a front runner in that debate. Let's have a look. What are people thinking about Biden? Are they still thinking that, if he's the one that's going to be able to beat Trump, then vote for him? What are they thinking? What are they thinking about Biden after that debate? What are they thinking about Biden after that debate? Biden after the Democratic debate. Okay, right. The High Priestess still with these secrets here as a signifier card. Still with there's so much untold. So his years in the Congress, there's more. There's going to be more that he's going to have to fend off. But, that's the challenge for him, unfortunately. It's the past. It's what hasn't been told yet. Okay, but they're just the signifier cards. Let's see what else is happening. The Queen of Swords in the foundation, as the foundation of the reading. Biden has come forward with a new strategy. He hopped on the front foot a little bit more in this second debate than what he did in the first debate, and is coming forward with his own, strategy on how to manage what will be inevitable attacks on his record in the Congress. It is the past in the Six of Cups. This is also in the past position. So in a way, it's almost like these attacks are not going to be connecting, because this is in the past is in the past position. So they might have had some kind of traction to begin with, but people are just wanting to move on, I feel. There's a lot of emotion in this card as well. What's the potential? The Seven of Cups. People are still making their minds up. This is all about choices here, and really choices that light the way, that lead the way, that enable you to move through through this sea, getting to another location, a better, a safer location. With these people in this particular card, they're lighting the way with lamps and lights. It's almost as if what he does have on his side is a way forward. He can actually, because of his past as vice president, people can see what kind of leader he's going to be, and that is going to help some people make their choices. The Ace of Cups, this is emotion in the near future, and this is a positive emotion, I think, that's going to be generated. But in this card, there's actually a black cat. Is that lucky or unlucky? So there are going to be new emotions here. My feeling is that it'll probably be lucky, but he's walking a very thin line at this point in time in relation. I'm connecting right with his past. Okay, the Two of Wands currently, he and his campaign team, they're strategizing, they're making plans for the future. But I'm also getting a draw to Trump and the Republicans and gaslighting. So they're also making their plans as well. The King of Wands, stepping forward. Is he the leader? Well, it seems to be that he's being thought of as a possible leader here. The Two of Cups, the hope is unity, and this is Biden's strength, where he can unify between Republicans and Democrats, and this is what people are thinking, including some of the Republicans. Some of the Republicans are going for Biden because we've got the Phoenix and coming out of the ashes here. We've got the Sun card. He's doing quite well after that debate. Things will be turning in his favour. And we've got the Eight of Cups. This is again moving on. People have walked away from the Republican Party as a result of Trump. And who are they walking toward? They're walking toward Joe Biden, and they're walking toward the Democrats. So here, what's at the base of the reading? Like it or lump it, that's what there are some Republicans that would vote for Joe Biden just to get rid of Trump. Just to get rid of him. Okay, they will vote. They will turn their vote. This is my card for the Democrats. What's at the base of the reading? The Four of Wands. They will turn their vote to Democrat as a result of what Trump has done. And this is expansion. So it's easy to focus on the negative Trumpsters. What did Hillary Clinton call them? The deplorables. We've got them in Australia as well. But there are plenty of other good people, even if they do vote another way. But when the situation is so extreme as it is in America, there will be people who will swing their vote toward a Democrat because of Trump pushing them that way. Okay, that's the reading. That's the wrap up or the overview of the CNN hosted Democratic debates that have just occurred. This isn't a reading on every single candidate. I can't do that in the time that I've got, but according to the adjudicators, these are the main highlights, if you like. That I can do within the time that I've got. So again, I've got no opinion either way. I don't, that's not for me to say. But I know some of you wanted to have a reading on the Democratic debate, and this is what I can do in the time that I've got. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Dark psychic forces. What a thing for Marianne Williamson to say. Dark psychic forces. It's a pretty strong phrase, isn't it? And it's getting people to think. All right, I'm going to leave it there, viewers. Blessings to you all. Thank you again for your support. I'll be back again with another reading soon. Thank you.